Test, 1, 2. Test. Okay. Test. Test, 1, 2. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the 2018 Student Government Association debates hosted by Georgia State Signal, the university's independent newspaper. It's wonderful to see so many people coming out here tonight, a lot of familiar faces out there. All jokes aside, tonight's debate will feature candidates for senators that represent the various colleges here at Georgia State. The debate will be live streamed at georgiastatesignal.com/live. My name is William Solomons, and I will be your moderator for this evening. The debate will be broken up into 4 groups with candidates from 6 different colleges. At the start of each debate, each candidate will have 1 minute to introduce themselves to the audience. Following introductions, I will ask 3 questions that each candidate will get the chance to respond to. Then we'll go into candidate-specific questions. They will have 1 minute to answer their given question. If another candidate wishes to respond in the form of a rebuttal, they will have 30 seconds to do so. We strongly urge the candidates to rebuttal each other so that we can foster more debate and to try to get some argument going. At this time, I would like to welcome Spencer Bivens, Kush Dabby, Christopher Garcia Velasquez to the stage, all of which are from the College of Arts and Sciences. Yeah, just stand, yeah. All right. So we are going to begin with an introduction from Mr. Christopher Garcia Velasquez. You have the floor.
Okay, so like you said, my name is Christopher Garcia. I am a sophomore. I'm currently a biology pre-med major with a concentration in physiology. And yes, I'm currently a senator for the College of Arts and Sciences. I've been serving in the vacancy since the beginning of the spring semester. And yeah, that's me. Great to be here.
All right, thank you. And now on to Spencer Bivens.
My name is Spencer Bivens. I'm currently a freshman here at Georgia State. I major in political science. I also minor in African American studies. I just have a great inclination for politics, so that's why I'm here on the stage today.
Yeah. We're going to take a minute. No idea.
Check. Okay, there we go. Cool. Sure. Click it right here. Is that okay? Check. Okay.
All right, so we are going to move on to the first round of questions that will be addressed to both of you, and you will have a minute to respond, and again, 30 seconds for a rebuttal. So for Mr. Garcia, senator involvement has always been a central concern for SGA. Name 3 specific ways that you as a senator will stay involved in SGA activities and will hold your fellow senators accountable to do so as well. You have the floor.
And you said for SGA involvement, right? Your senator
Yes.
involvement. So one of the best ways I know for sure is we currently have a kind of an absentee policy that we abide by, and that's all senators have to abide by, and all EVPs and all presidents have to abide by that. So it's one of the main ways we keep ourselves accountable in regards to make sure we attend the meetings, we attend any type of services we sign up for, and attend any type of events that we sign up for as well. The second way would be to kind of provide incentives for other senators to attend, whether it be free food, everyone loves free food, or some sort of just community service involvement as well. People like doing community service. A third different way would be to just, we really want to make SGA voice heard, and getting more senators to come out and get involved in whether it be community service or any type of student activities, whether it be SGA led or not, would be a great way to get our voice out there and get our exposure out there. So that'd be a very good way to get exposure or accountability.
All right, thank you, Mr. Garcia. Mr. Bivens, you now have the floor.
This was actually one of the concerns that I had when I first went to an SGA meeting. Just as a student, I saw that there were a lot of people that didn't show up, just as a whole. And one of the things that I would do is to reinforce the requirements. I feel as if if there are people who do not want to be there, they have people that they're serving. They have people that depend on them to be their voice, to be their representation. So, there needs to be a tightening up on the policy. Also, I agree with him on providing incentives so that the people, the people that are in office can feel as if that they have a reason to be there. Also to probably figure out what they need in order to feel as if that, they won't burn out over the course of the year.
All right, thank you, Mr. Bivens. So we're going to move on to the second question. And this is for you, Mr. Bivens. How will you strive to stay in touch and listen to your constituents as their representation? And please be specific in your answers. You now have the floor.
Well, I try to be very open on my social media. I try to also provide ways like on campus to be more accessible, like going to events that are outside of SGA so that the students can know who I am, and just make sure that they know that my email is always open and that I stay as accessible as possible.
All right, thank you, Mr. Bivens. Mr. Garcia, you now have the floor.
So agreeing with him as well, and making sure that I'm able to be contacted in all types of fronts, whether it be social media or within my personal email, whether it be school or through phone number as well. Excuse me, allergies. But as well as just make sure I maintain an open presence, and also host things. We have things called constituency days, and one of the plans I want to do as a senator there is to kind of space them out instead of having it in one big grand day, having them throughout the week, kind of like how professors have office hours. You're able to come in and talk to any type of senator from your respective college and say, I have an issue with this. I would like to get this resolved, or I would like to get this type of bill passed, and kind of that would also increase the involvement of students for SGA as well.
All right, thank you, Mr. Garcia. We're going to move on to our last question that will be addressed to both of you. What are 3 areas that you'd like to strengthen in the College of Arts and Sciences? Mr. Garcia, you have the floor.
So one of the big things that's on my platform is I used to be an RCB major. So I used to be a computer information systems major. And in the RCB, we had our own advisors. We had our own career services. We had our own basically little college inside the university. And one of the big things I want to do for the College of Arts and Sciences is kind of do something model structure after the RCB. Because even though we are very diverse colleges, from anything from biology to computer science, and we just now, the arts just branched off. That used to be part of us as well. I want to be able to give each student who's part of that college, I want to make them feel like they're actually being heard and they're actually getting involved in, and they're not just attending that school. I want them to get the full value of their tuition. That's just any RCB student's getting as well.
All right, thank you, Mr. Garcia. Mr. Bivens, you now have the floor.
Well, as most of you know, the College of Arts and Sciences is the largest college at Georgia State University. And with having that large amount of majors and programs, there's a lot of distance between the students and the faculty and staff. I know personally, I don't know many faculty and staff in the College of Arts and Sciences, so I want to bridge that gap, and I want to find a way for students to feel as if that they know, who they're learning from and know where they stand in terms of their college.
All right, thank you, Mr. Bivens. So we're going to move on to our individual questions. So Mr. Bivens, you said in your application that you wanted to promote student involvement through town halls and other similar legislative efforts. What specific ideas do you have to encourage more involvement?
Well, yeah, I really feel as if town halls are a great idea. I know there are a lot of people who shy away from town halls because they feel as if that they're like skewed in a certain way, like, certain people plant questions or whatever. I want to provide a way to make sure that that's not the case, so that they feel as if that they're actually being heard. Another way is, I guess, to just find a way to like collaborate with other clubs on campus. Like I know like Spotlight, they have like a huge reach. Like I know people go there all the time with their program. So like, maybe do that.
All right, thank you, Mr. Bivens. Mr. Garcia. Mm-hmm. Georgia State is home to a diverse community of students, non-traditional, single household mothers, fathers, veterans, and first-generation college students. As a first-generation college student yourself, how do you plan to stay in touch with these underrepresented populations of the university? You now have the floor.
Well, thankfully, Georgia State has a lot of offices and a lot of clubs that cater to these organizations. So one of the things I really wanted to do is get in contact with those organizations, stay in contact with those organizations, whether it be stopping by the first generation office or LASSO or the Office of Black Student Achievement, just getting in touch with all the underrepresented minorities, even the ones who aren't usually represented or usually talked about, whether it be like the smaller Sikh community we have on campus, or just really any type of community we have as underrepresented, just getting in contact with the club organization that's run by them or gets catered to them would be a great way to keep in contact.
All right, thank you, Mr. Garcia. At this time, is there anyone in the audience who would like to ask a question to the candidates? All right, well, thank you, candidates, for participating in this debate. We're now going to take a 5-minute intermission period, and then we will resume after that. I would like to welcome everyone back to the 2018 Student Government Association debate. I would now like to welcome Jasmine Meha, Colleen Thomas, and Mackenzie Took, who are all from the College of Arts and Sciences, to the stage. So again, each of you will have 1 minute to introduce yourself, and we're going to start with Miss Thomas. Mr. Thomas, sorry. You now have the floor.
Well, for starters, my name is Kaylin Thomas. I'm a first-year student here at Georgia State, and I study in political science. I would just like to start off also by saying that every senator you see here today is an amazing person, and however, I don't know them all personally, but I do know that they do really deserve this opportunity to be here today, and I am also incredibly lucky to be here today, so thank you.
All right, thank you, Mr. Thomas. We will now move on to Ms. Took. You now have the floor.
Good evening. My name is Mackenzie Took, and I am a sophomore political science major here at Georgia State. Although this is my first academic year at GSU, I've already fallen in love with the diversity that the university has to offer. And through SGA, I hope to collaborate with students who are as intrigued by the opportunities that the university has to offer as I am, get involved with serving both the Georgia State community and the greater Atlanta area, and support the university charter organizations that are fighting to have their voices heard. Thank you.
All right, thank you. And now we will move on to Ms. Mejia. You now have the floor.
Hello everyone, my name is Jasmine Mejia. I'm a political science major with a concentration in pre-law. I am also an event lead at Spotlight Programs Board as well as the Alumni Networking Chair on Phi Alpha Delta. And I'm running to be the voice of those unheard for the exhausted student who begs for change.
All right, thank you. We're now going to move on to questions that are specific to the College of Arts and Sciences that will be addressed to each one of you. So we're going to start with Mr. Thomas. The question is, what are some ways that you could create opportunities for students within the College of Arts and Sciences to further themselves in their education and future careers? You now have the floor.
Well, thank you. I would like to allow students to meet with their advisors more frequently, have their advisors be more accessible to them so that they know what's going on in their academic careers and what they're supposed to be doing, and how to keep them on track in their classes and such. I would also like to foster more community growth alongside the College of Arts and Sciences. By just having sort of meet and greets and letting people know who is in their college, because as we are in the College of Arts and Sciences, it is a large group of people, the largest college here at Georgia State University, as you might have heard. So it's hard to meet all the people in your college, let alone, have personal relationships with these people. So that's something that I would definitely work on as senator.
All right, thank you, Mr. Thomas. And the question now goes to Ms. Took. It's the same question. You now have the floor.
So I think definitely networking is a big thing for our college. Definitely getting to know the different businesses throughout Atlanta is a big thing because there are numerous opportunities that a lot of people don't know about. And networking also with the students within the college because you don't know, a lot of students don't know what other students within their colleges are doing and the opportunities that are available to them. So I think definitely networking is a big thing.
All right, thank you, Ms. Took. And the same question goes to you, Ms. Mejia.
I would like to create more panels within the Arts and Science College. I feel like we don't have enough. If anything, I don't think I've ever met one or gone to one. A panel that would involve having all the majors that are in the arts and sciences colleges and having a representative in each station. There we can meet and greet with people all over Georgia State. I believe that we also need an organization center, so an organization center that would stay in SGA, but meet and make communications with other organizations, student leaders on campus, and through that I feel as the Arts and Science College is being one of the biggest colleges, that is a great outreach for a lot of people.
All right, thank you. So this next question is going to begin with you, Ms. Mejia, and it's as follows. How do you plan on improving the way SGA functions, and how will you encourage growth as a governing body? You now have the floor.
I'm going to encourage girls, as I said, as being as creating an organization center, so that person is going to be able to make connections with other groups. Like, for example, we could have an event with Spotlight. Spotlight's a huge organization on campus. I know a lot of people attend their events because they're fun, and I feel like people believe that SGA cannot be fun, but it can. So with the involvement of other organizations, we can grow SGA as a student body, and then through that we can like teach them, not teach them, but let them know what SGA is all about.
All right, thank you. The same question goes to you, Ms. Took. You now have the floor.
I think that we can increase growth for SGA by attending town hall meetings within residence halls, because there are a lot of people who just don't know about SGA and what we do. And also just attending organization events and just hearing what other people have to say and their different issues that they want to be addressed, but they don't know how to have them addressed. So having a representative from SGA would really help there.
All right, thank you. And Mr. Thomas, you now have the floor.
Well, to me, communication is key. And I feel like it should be in reach for all of you to be able to talk to your senators personally. And I don't know if I only can attest to this. I know my friends can as well. But I truly do have an open door policy. And I do believe that you should be able to come to me as a friend, as I am your friend, and talk to me about any problem that you have, big or small. Because no problem is too small for any of us to handle, or too big. So I think that, as your friend, I think that you should be able to talk to me. Because truly, I'm here just to better both of our experiences in college.
All right, thank you, Mr. Thomas. So this final question for all of you is, previous SGA initiatives have supported commuter students by increasing their meal plan options and making more microwaves available. What legislation would you promote as a senator to support the commuter portion of campus? Ms. Took, you now have the floor for 1 minute.
To support commuters, I think we should have, like I said before, networking opportunities just so people know, oh, you commute too? Oh, maybe we can collaborate here, or work out some kind of carpooling thing, or just different events for them so they can get to know each other and kind of relate about the issues that they face trying to get to Georgia State and within the university.
All right, thank you. Mr. Thomas, you now have the floor for 1 minute.
Well, as a commuter, I know it can be hard traveling in and out of Atlanta due to the high volumes of traffic that come in and out of the city every day. But I do believe that initiatives such as the carpooling initiative that Ms. Took just said, and maybe partnering with MARTA in the city of Atlanta to come up with more sustainable routes of transportation to and out of Georgia State, such as maybe funding for more buses and more outreach, because we do have parking lots at Turner Field, but I do know that sometimes the buses are far and in between, and just making sure that people feel as though the Atlanta campus is the most accessible, even though that there's a lot of traffic in the area.
All right, thank you, Mr. Thomas. Ms. Mejia, you now have the floor for 1 minute.
I would like to come off what Mr. Thomas was saying. Commuters do use the buses a lot, but I also feel like we need to implement some more bike routes from the blue lot to green lot to Georgia State campus, because that bus route or that bus ride takes way too long when it comes to high traffic and also in the morning. So another example that we could use for commuters would be more reasonable commuter meals, because yes, we do have a meal plan for commuters on campus, but it's really expensive. It's not reasonable. They're not going to be using it all the time. So I feel like, as Georgia State being one of the largest commuter schools, we need to cater to them a little bit more than those that live on campus, because living on campus, being right in the middle of the city, it's a great opportunity, but I feel like commuters can't experience that or experience college as well as those that live on campus.
All right, thank you, Ms. Mejia. At this time, we're going to move on to our candidate-specific questions. The first question is for you, Ms. Mejia. In your application, you mentioned that you believe that elected officials are supposed to work as a team. If elected, how do you plan on strengthening each Senate committee and addressing conflicts between senators?
So going into SGA, I do believe that we all have our own individual views, and some of those views may not always work together or clash, or that they will clash sometimes. And I feel like what we need to come up with, if there is a problem, is compromise, because with compromise, everyone is happy. We both get something out of it instead of it going either one way or the other. So in SGA, I feel like with teamwork, we will get stuff done. If we keep arguing about what is right and what is not, then nothing's going to be able to get done.
All right, thank you. The next question goes to you, Mr. Thomas. In your application, you said that you want to engage with the community more. How do you plan on reaching out to the Georgia State community and getting students, essentially, more interested in keeping up with SGA?
Well, as I said, communication is key to me, and I do feel as though you should be able to keep your senators accountable for all of their actions. So I feel as though maybe an initiative working alongside the communications director and making sure that every senator is able to have their email provided and maybe a contact phone number so that students can reach them with their concerns. I do also believe that maybe more involvement in on-campus activities, showing that SGA is not just a sort of omnipotent being, that we are actually here alongside students as well, that we work alongside the student body with most of their issues that they have.
All right, thank you, Mr. Thomas. And this last question is for you, Ms. Took. You said you want to create an environment that is better for the student body here at Georgia State as a whole. Can you be a little bit more specific about what you mean, and how do you plan to make the environment better?
I think we can make the environment better by the different organizations within the university. I think we could do more collaboration. So, because a lot of people don't know the initiatives that each organization is taking. So I think if the leaders of all the organizations sit down and hear specifically what ideas and directories that all the organizations have, I think that would promote a lot of unity within the university. And I also think that we should promote more towards the organizations that kind of are smaller and that have a voice, but they don't know how to get it heard. So through SGA, I think that we could promote that better.
All right, thank you, Ms. Took. At this time, we're going to open the floor to the audience. Does anyone have any questions that they would like to ask these candidates? All right, seeing none, at this time, we're going to take another 5-minute intermission, and we'll convene back here at around 6:50 or 6:52. Welcome back, everyone, to the 2018 Student Government Association debates. At this time, I would like to welcome Gregory Wright from the Andrew Young School of Policy Studies, Anaya Jones from the School of Public Health, Sherilyn Munoz from the College of Education and Human Development, and Jante Francis from the College of Nursing and Health Professions to the stage at this time. And again, candidates, you'll each have 1 minute to introduce yourself, and for all questions, you'll have 1 minute to answer them. So we're going to start with you, Mr. Wright. You now have the floor.
All right, good evening. My name is Greg Wright. I am currently the Center of Academic Affairs for the Decatur campus. I hope to be the senator for Andrew Young Policy Study School in this upcoming fall after I graduate in May. This year I have had the chance of starting a sexual assault committee with my EVP, and I also have started a transportation initiative for the Georgia State perimeter campuses where I look to start an interconnecting bus route system in the future. I'm glad to be here, and let's go State.
All right, thank you, Mr. Wright. Ms. Jones, you now have the floor.
Okay, hello everyone, my name is Anaya Jones. I am a third-year public health major. I'm running for the position of senator representing the School of Public Health. I'm running on the platform We Hear You. My platform focuses on bridging the gap between SGA and the students of the School of Public Health, while also broadcasting the resources to ensure student success here at the university. I just want to encourage each and every student to not only graduate from this university, but graduate knowing that you have fulfilled your purpose here.
All right, thank you. Ms. Francis, you now have the floor.
Hello, everyone. My name is Jante Francis. I am a first semester nursing student here. I'm currently running for the College of Nursing and Health Professions. Since I'm a transfer student from Valdosta State, this is my third semester here. Since being here at Georgia State, one of the biggest things that I noticed is the lack of participation and interest of students within their organizations. I want to use my voice in SGA to improve that. I want to use my voice in SGA to improve student participations within their organizations, as well as improve students' utilizations of their resources.
All right, thank you, Ms. Francis. Ms. Munoz, you now have the floor for 1 minute.
Okay. Hello, my name is Sherilyn Munoz, and I am a major in early childhood education, minor in public policy, and I have been a part of SGA since November of last year. And ever since joining, I have been proud to be a part of an organization that really tries to speak for the voice of other students. I will say, though, that we have a big lack of student participation because, honestly, all of us students, we are part of SGA, but we do not acknowledge that. Like, we are SGA, all of us, not just us, the senators, but every single one of us as students.
All right, thank you, Ms. Munoz. At this time, we're going to move into questions that each of you will answer, and that apply to everyone. So each of you are from different colleges scattered around the campus. How will you each empower your represented college in the future, both through SGA and other organizational involvement? And please be specific, candidates. Mr. Wright, you now have the floor.
Could you repeat that question?
Yeah, I can. Sorry about that. How will you each empower your represented college in the future, both through SGA and other organizational involvement? And please be specific.
Okay, I look to do more campus involvement. That's something that's been like real big at the Decatur campus. More campus involvement, getting more students to know about SGA. Because a lot of people, they don't know about SGA and all the things that we do offer. So I look to like make that bigger, if that makes any sense. Yeah, that's how I'm going to do that.
All right, thank you, Mr. Wright. Ms. Jones, you now have the floor.
So the School of Public Health is fairly new, as we all know. So I really want to focus on bridging that gap between SGA and the students of the School of Public Health. With that, I plan on just creating personal relationships since our department is very small. I think it's very possible for me to create personal relationships with organizations that are focused on public health or geared to public health students. Also just broadcasting that we do have organizations that are geared to public health students and encouraging the students to go to those organizations, participate, get involved, so that we can lean on one another to basically grow in your major and learn more about other opportunities that you have to succeed.
All right, thank you, Ms. Jones. Ms. Francis, you now have the floor.
I would use my voice to get more involved, start showing support and through other organizations. With the College of Nursing and Health Professions, it's 6 different programs, but we're not connected with one another. Why? Because we don't see each other. So I think through holding health fairs and different smaller health fairs where we all could actually work together within our programs and actually getting to know each other, we could then get SGA name out, as well as getting into, excuse me, I'm sorry, I'm nervous, as well as, honestly, I just want to work with others to build trust. By building trust with others, we can form those positive relationships with one another, making it easier to educate others about SGA. So there we go.
All right, thank you, Ms. Francis. Ms. Munoz, you now have the floor for 1 minute.
Okay, in the College of Education, we really have a lack of staffing for the educational programs. So when we had our Constituents Day, a lot of the people that I had invited to come out, they couldn't come out because of they were either at the schools or there was just lack of communication between the College of Education and the way that the meetings were being set up. So I would work through SGA and try and adapt towards that, because me being a future educator, I know exactly what the schedule requires, what is going on. So in order for SGA to know about that, we need to have somebody who understands. And I would also do that through other organizations that I'm a part of. So like, for example, there's LASA, the Latin American Student Association, outreaching to them and trying to bridge the gap between the students and how they need to get themselves involved with SGA. Because how will SGA know what to do if nobody comes up to us?
All right, thank you, Ms. Munoz. So the next question is going to start with you again. What are 2 areas of improvement you'd like to see around Georgia State, and what will you do on your part to address it? Again, please be specific. Ms. Munoz, you have the floor.
So a couple of the areas I would like to see improved is the diversity in the faculty staff, because even in my college, there is a lack of diversity. There is nobody that looks like me in my college, and I would really like to see some more diversity in that, and I would advocate for more faculty that is diverse in all colleges, not just my college, because I know that across the board that's a major issue. And second of all, I would like to see improved is commuters. Like commuters, the stuff that commuters have to go through is really tough. I know that when I see the bus to pick up right here outside of the library plaza, it's always full. Like there's like at least 200 people easily waiting for the bus at peak hours. And that is ridiculous because they are not listening to what the student needs are, and you can clearly see what they need.
All right, thank you, Ms. Munoz. Ms. Francis, you now have the floor for 1 minute.
I definitely agree with my candidate over right to the right of me. And when it comes to commuters, I'm a commuter myself, and I find it very difficult with meal plans as well. I typically spend, if I do not bring my lunch, I typically am spending money on campus, which after a full week of classes, that's a lot of money. So it's definitely improving resources for commuters, but as well as when it comes to Panther and Involvement Network, I believe that organizations need to start utilizing that more. A big problem on Georgia State campus that I've seen is students are not very involved with their organizations. And I feel the reason that is because a lot of times organizations, they put out their information on social media, but that is not accessible to everyone. And I feel it should be a mandatory for student organizations to use Pamper Involvement so that they can post their events, post their different forums, so students can see what we have to offer or what the different organizations here on, Georgia State has to offer. This will in turn increase Panther pride, and students could definitely start finding more interest in different organizations, being that they're seeing, oh, this is what these organizations have to offer. So that's some of the things I would change.
Thank you, Ms. Francis. Ms. Jones, you now have the floor.
I definitely do agree with the both of them with the commuter asset. Georgia State is a commuter-based school, but they basically covered everything. So along with that, I would like to see our student leaders getting more involved. So it tends to be like, student leaders just stay in their comfort zones. They stay in their offices. They don't really get out and mingle and mix. I feel like we should make it our business to make ourselves more accessible to the general student body. Make it so that they're comfortable with you. So when they see you, they can say hi. They won't be like, oh, that's just another SGA representative, or oh, that's just another 1913 representative. Oh, it's Anaya from SGA, and she's willing to talk to me. I can talk to her about this, that, and so forth. Oh, it's Anaya, she was at the Spotlight event. I can talk to her about this, that, and that. So just making yourself more accessible, more relatable, just so that others can ultimately feel more comfortable coming to you.
All right, thank you, Ms. Jones. Mr. Wright, you now have the floor.
Yes, I would like to work. I would like to work on the safety issue at our school. I recently learned about mapping issues. I would like to work with whoever I need to work with when it comes to finalizing the map and creating safety zones, so our students know when they're actually walking off of campus and when they're in the hands of a Georgia State. When Georgia State police is actually should be taking, you should be calling Georgia State or you should be calling Atlanta police. That's what I'm trying to say. And I also want to do more campus involvement. Like, that's a big thing. That's how your student body gets to know every senator, EVP, president. Like, we have to do more hand to hand, more, hey, how are you doing? Like, that's what works. And that's what I look to bring to Georgia State. More of a community feel, more of I'm your friend and you're my friend, and hey, do you know him? You should get to know him. We need to do more of that. So those are my initiatives right now.
All right, thank you, Mr. Wright. The last question for all of you is, how do you plan to make SGA a more widely used resource to students who don't know much about it? Ms. Jones, you now have the floor.
Education is key. I feel like a lot of students don't know how important it is to be involved in student government. Someone previously said that as a student, you are a part of student government. Whether you have a title or not, everyone's voice is vital. Like, without your voice, there's no student government. So I just think educating your peers on how important their voice is and how they can participate and how they can make the school better as a whole, I think that's very important. So we should definitely start off with educating each other.
All right, thank you, Ms. Jones. Ms. Francis, you now have the floor for 1 minute.
I agree with Anaya through educating others, as well as, like I said before, just showing your support, becoming an active participant. As SGA, we are leaders, and we need to make sure we need to make sure we're showing support in other organizations and events, and therefore they will in turn show their support to us as well. So definitely, I think one of the biggest things is just showing that support, being very open, being very positive, and so that others can open up and relate to you, and you can actually get to know everyone on campus.
All right, thank you, Ms. Francis. Ms. Munoz, you now have the floor.
Could you repeat the question, please?
How do you plan to make SGA a more widely used resource to students who don't know much about it?
Definitely transparency and communication, just because a lot of the stuff that SGA does is not perfect. It's right in front of, set on a platter for students to have accessible. So for example, like, we have SGA minutes, but you have to click through like 3 different things in order to get there. And so I know we live in a time where we really want to just move fast, and so we need to make that more accessible, and that's what I mean by transparency and communicating, because we need to have that, what another candidate had mentioned, that community feel that we really belong, that just because we're part of SGA does not mean that we technically have a higher title. No, because we are all part of SGA, and we should all feel welcome to be a part of SGA and want to go to the SGA meetings.
All right, thank you, Ms. Munoz. Mr. Wright, you now have the floor for 1 minute.
Yeah, I think we should just do more like publicizing of events, do more flyering. Like putting out flyers and basically being more a part of the school. Like, I think that's the only way that people know about SGA. We create more events, more everything that involves SGA, period. And that'll bring more people to SGA and want to know about SGA and the things that we do as SGA.
All right, thank you, Mr. Wright. So now we're going to move on to the individual questions for each of you. So Mr. Wright, we're going to start with you. You mentioned that you want to connect with students more and ensure that their voices are heard. Many students do not attend SGA meetings, so how will you ensure that their issues and concerns are still voiced and addressed?
I feel like I'm answering the same questions, but basically it's, like I said, more campus involvement, more hand-to-hand meetings with your faculty and staff and your students, that really works. Like, I don't think I haven't stressed that enough, but that really works. Like, I do attend Decatur campus, and if we go walk around there, like, everybody's gonna know me. Like, I think that's the best way to be if you're in a leadership position, for people to know you. Like, you want people to know you, so people are more willing to walk up on you and voice their concerns or tell you about their day or anything, you know? Like, I work with students on everything from trying to get better math startup classes for people who are coming in at older ages to now this, what is this? At the end of the semester, I actually started a cram session for 3 days with the LTC where we're gonna bring students in and get them all the help they need for the final exam periods. So just making yourself more noticeable, making yourself more visible to students. That's how I'm gonna bring more people to SGA and get more people to informed on SGA.
All right, thank you, Mr. Wright. Ms. Jones, this question is for you. As a senator for the School of Public Health, what have you done to best represent your college, and what will you do if elected to further this new school's influence at Georgia State?
So since I've been running for senator of the School of Public Health, I have been doing a lot of footwork. I've been going to different organizations, general body meetings, introducing myself to them and letting them know what I plan on doing. Like I said, my platform is Bridging the Gap, so I definitely want to make my peers feel comfortable. I want them to be able to put a face with a name, let them know that I'm not just coming for the title. I actually want to get to know you guys. I actually want you guys to get to know me, and I actually want to know how you guys feel about certain things so I can bring it to the Senate. So definitely, I will continue doing that if elected. And like I said prior, just broadcasting the resources. I can't stress that enough because I feel like with the School of Public Health being so new, we're not really sure of how we can navigate and obtain success. So I feel like, broadcasting your resources, letting everyone know what's available to them, it will be very helpful.
All right, thank you, Ms. Jones. Ms. Francis, according to your application, you said that you wanted to work with the Division of Student Affairs to make students more aware of the resources that the university offers and to better use those resources. Can you let me know what resources you were referring to specifically, and how do you plan to promote them more?
Some of the different resources that we have on campus, when it comes to the career services, I wasn't very aware of the career services until I actually went online and did the research myself. A lot of students, if they do not do the research on their own, they don't see some of the different resources. Another different research is, another different resource is, the Panther Food Network. I was unaware of the Panther food drive until I actually became, I do apologize, I'm very nervous, but
You're good.
I'm sorry. I'm not good with on-the-spot questions, but it's the Panther Food Drive, where students can actually go and get free food here on campus. I wasn't aware of that, and just resources like that. I'm sorry.
All right, thank you, Ms. Francis. It's all right. The last question goes to Ms. Munoz. In your application, you said that you wanted students to become more active in politics due to the close proximity to the state's capital. What are your plans to encourage more participation from the student body in politics?
So definitely promoting the programs, such as there's a program called the Georgia Legislation Program, TENT program, that you can go and you apply and you can go and be with your legislative representative and be right there and help them out in whatever policy is going through. And a lot of people are not aware of that. I only found out about it because of this honors college announcement, and that was the only reason I could figure it out. And can you only imagine, we're a couple blocks away from it, and we do not know, it's not advertised. More people from other colleges go and are legislative aides instead of Georgia State that I've seen. And that's a shame because we're right there, right from the blocks, and I would definitely bring more policies and bring more information out about what's happening in the Capitol right now. There's a couple bills up right now that could give Georgia State more money, or it would involve Georgia State, but we don't know about it. And so I would definitely advertise all those policies and definitely make aware of the student body that there are stuff that is affecting us right now.
All right, thank you. So at this time, we're going to open up the floor to the audience. Does anyone have any questions that they would like to ask the candidates? All right, seeing none, we're about to take another 5-minute intermission. I would like to thank all the candidates up here. Please give them a round of applause. All right, good evening, everyone, and welcome back to the 2018 Student Government Association debates. At this time, I would like to welcome Jonathan Jones from the Robinson College of Business to the stage for the final round of debate.
Guess I'll go first.
Yep. Got a lot of tough competition tonight, so just be ready for that. So you have 1 minute to introduce yourself, and you have the floor.
All right. So my name is Jonathan Jones, and I am currently the head senator for the Robinson College of Business. And it's interesting because my freshman year I ran, and it was probably 18 people up here. Well, not at the same time, but 18 people. And I ran last year, and it was 6. And today, I guess I'm the only one. But I guess that's the issue that I want to address in what will probably be my final year as a senator, is just increasing SGA involvement, or at least getting it to where it was when I first joined SGA and what made me want to join SGA. Because I remember asking some of my mentors when I got here what's like some of the most prestigious organizations, and SGA was one of the first names thrown out there. But when I come into this room today and look around, I don't see that many people. But I guess that's an issue that will be addressed in the coming days, weeks, and last year. But thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Jones. So we're just going to go into some questions.
All right.
So I've asked this question before, and you kind of touched on it briefly in your introduction, but senator involvement has always been an issue for SGA in the past, whether that is attendance of meetings, spending enough time with constituents, or attending events. How will you personally stay involved in SGA, and how will you hold your fellow senators accountable?
All right, so I don't know if any of you watch sports, but when players go from college basketball to NBA basketball, they talk about a rookie wall, which is like, it's 30 games played in college and it's 82, so there's a slump that you face. So there is definitely a wall in SGA, a rookie wall, or even a junior wall, or whatever you want to call it. Because you get into SGA and you have so much fire and there's so many things that you want to work on, but you don't always know how to do it. And as the year goes on, it kind of slips away from you, and you're just sitting in meetings and you're realizing, oh, well, now it's kind of too late to start on this, or oh, I don't know what to start, or even, I don't even know what to address, because to be an effective senator, you have to go out and you have to find the problems. But one way I plan on doing it is with me and whoever is a senator in the College of Business, I plan on going out to student orgs, because most students here are in at least one organization. So I personally plan on going out to the general body meetings of students of organizations that are amongst the College of Business, and just hearing their problems, hearing their concerns first, and to hold others accountable, leading by example. So if I'm out there doing what I'm supposed to be doing, then others will see that and hopefully follow suit. And hopefully I won't have to hold people accountable by myself. But it starts with holding myself accountable.
All right, thank you, Mr. Jones. So the next question is focusing on the Robinson College of Business. So how do you plan to promote the interests of it, as well as increasing the opportunities for business students through SGA?
I'm going to answer the second question, and I'm probably about to have to ask you about the first part again. But as far as the second part goes, as far as the involvement or opportunities, there are actually a lot of opportunities that come with being in the Robinson College of Business. The biggest issue is knowing about them. So I would have to find a way to spread the word. So if it comes down to handing out pamphlets or handing out flyers or mass emails amongst College of Business, and we're visiting student orgs, handing pamphlets out to them, that's how I would raise awareness about that. But I wouldn't really say that there's a need to increase opportunities, because there are a lot of opportunities out there. Just the main issue is that we don't always know of the opportunities. And what was the first part of the question?
How do you plan to promote the interests of the Robinson College of Business?
Promote that by, again, just spreading the word, and also like speaking to administration and finding out what administration is doing and passing that on to the students. Because I remember at our constituent day last semester, we sat down with the dean, and he was telling us about how they were changing the classes for freshmen, like the courses that they go through. And so he was talking to us 6 senators that were there, and I feel like that was very valuable information that the rest of the RCB students could have got, but they weren't there for it.
All right, thank you, Mr. Jones. So the next question is, what issues within the college, and it can expand to the university as a whole, would you like to see addressed, and how would you address them? And please be specific.
Let's see. One more time with the question.
So what issues within the college or with the university as a whole would you like to see addressed, and how would you address them?
One issue within the college, I guess that kind of applies to the university as well as advisors. A lot of people like their advisors, and that, but at a certain point they switch them. So I would try to see if we can fix that to where if you like your advisor, you can keep your advisor, or if you want a different advisor, you can get a different advisor. And also, drawing a blank on the rest of the question. Last time, I promise.
All right, that's all right.
Can you repeat the question?
So what issues within the college would you like to see addressed, and that could be for RCB or for the university as a whole, and how would you address them?
Oh, yeah, and I would address them by, again, speaking with the administration. I know it says specifically, but in general, a lot of issues can be addressed. They just have to be brought up. But I guess the biggest issue, honestly, is figuring out the issues. So,
all right, thank you. And the last question for this evening, what specific methods do you have planned to bridge the gap between students and administration within the College of Business?
Just sitting down and talking with them. Like I said, we talked to the dean last semester, and he was very willing to come down and sit with us. So that just has to continue, and not just with the dean, but with other administration within the College of Business and within the university. So just sitting down, talking with them, because like I said, a lot of them are very receptive to sitting down and talking to us. So just planning it out.
All right, thank you, Mr. Jones. Is there anyone from the audience who would like to ask a question before we close it out? All right, seeing none, I would like to thank Mr. Jones. Please give him a round of applause. I would like to thank everyone for coming out this evening to the 2018 Student Government Association debates. There will be videos and recordings posted on the Signals YouTube channel, and everyone get home safe. Y'all have a great night.